Jackson.
Gentlemen, on a Monday, hottest show on the streets. Getting that work week kicked off for you correctly in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Proud to have all of you guys checking us out on today. We bring you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you via YouTube. And speaking of the channel, go ahead right now. Stop all that you're doing. Hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done so, tap subscribe right now. Get every friend, family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football to subscribe as well. Also, don't share the show. Share the show around everybody you know, because if you're feeling the content, guess what? They will too. Don't forget to hit that like button. Give us a thumbs up right there. Tap the like button. Raise those like levels up right there. We appreciate that. Trying to get the start of this show. 50 likes out the gate right here. We appreciate you guys. That daily Super Chat go, $100. Daily Super Chat going, $100 right there. We greatly appreciate you guys. Hit that notification bell so you miss nothing when it comes to your Bama football news. Got quite a few things to get into. We want to hear from you on this evening. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358, the number 2. Let your voice be made known on the show, 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. But, Eli, let's get started with this one right here on tonight's show as we open with Crimson Tide becoming serious about two defensive backs in the transfer portal. Both of these young men have been offered by the Crimson Tide. When you discuss Jalen Key out of UAB and Trey Amos out of Louisiana Lafayette. Both of these two young men have been offered. Key is a safety out of UAB. Amos is a corner from Louisiana Lafayette. And I understand that depth is needed in that defensive back room for Alabama, especially after having Jacquez Robinson and Traquan Fagans both hit the transfer portal just days before the spring game. Robinson now with the Colorado Buffaloes. Fagans now committed to the USC Trojans. So, of course, there is depth needed there for that room. And for starters, you look at Jalen Key from UAB. He had a breakout year last year for the Blazers. Breakout year. In fact, he helped lead the Blazers to have one of the best pass defenses in the nation when you talk college football. So in terms of Key's numbers, his statistical data here, we got it here for you on screen when you talk Jalen Key. Comes in at 6'2", 210 pounds in terms of size. He had 60 total tackles a season ago, 4.5 of those for loss, 2 forced fumbles, had 3 interceptions, so he can take the ball away. He can create picks. He can create turnovers. Had a career-high 12 tackles last year against LSU. He was an honorable mention all-conference USA player. And like I mentioned, he did lead UAB to having one of the nation's top pass defenses just a season ago. So Jalen Key, he brings experience, brings talent, brings length, brings athleticism, brings experience, depth here to the room, especially at that safety position after you lost 2 safeties, DeMarco Helms and Jordan Battle, to the NFL. So there's Jalen Key. When you look at Trey Amos here out of Louisiana Lafayette, he's a long-range, he's a very athletic corner. Plays with technique, sound technique, but long-rangey athletic corner. If you look at his numbers here from Louisiana Lafayette, as they're on screen, he's 6'1", 197 pounds, so right where Coach Saban wants you at, right at that 200-pound benchmark there for a corner. He usually wants his DBs right there. Trey Amos is right there. He had 8 pass breakups a season ago, led the team. He has 23 games of experience in college football coming over from Louisiana Lafayette. In terms of his career, he's got 13 career pass breakups, 49 career tackles. So Amos has got experience as a corner coming over from Louisiana Lafayette. So Coach Saban, Alabama has offered Amos and Key. I think it wants both guys because of the fact that not only the guys you lost to the draft, but you think about it, you've lost to Battle, Helms, Branch, Ricks. You talk about guys like Kareem Jackson, Traquan Fagans, Jacquez Robinson. You've lost several guys in the secondary. So you got to be able to rebuild back up that depth, retool up that depth, especially behind your starters. You don't necessarily have guys that have the experience there on the field. You have the talent, absolutely, but not necessarily the guys that have experience out there, on the field of play. So Saban interested in Trey Amos and Jalen Key. We've gone through their numbers. We've gone through their measurements. We've gone through their statistical data. We will see what they bring to the program if Alabama chooses to go ahead on and have them commit to the Crimson Tide via the transfer portal. But we take our first break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we go on the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Line us up. We want to hear from you after this.
Nine players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're back to the action here from the break. Hottest show on the streets here, covering your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got my man Eli Walker in the production studio on a Monday. We appreciate all of you guys hitting that like button, subscribing to the show, sharing the show around, making this your spot here to talk Bama football. That daily Super Chat go, $100 daily. Super Chat going $100 right there. We appreciate the love and support from you, but the phone line's open, 205-448-1358, number to call. Let your voice be made known on the show, 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358, as you guys are continuing to get your calls in here. Just going back, Eli, to the defensive backs, the secondary for Alabama, as much as we enjoyed the talent on the field from the A-Day game that was Earl Little getting a pick, Jake Pope making some big plays out there, Dez Riggs, Antonio Kite stepping up, Malachi Moore doing his thing. We enjoyed all of that. We absolutely did. But when you've had several guys to not only get drafted to play pro ball, but some guys to hit the transfer portal, and your depth dwindles there, it's very important to address the depth in the room. And with Jalen Key and Trey Amos both being offered here by Alabama, it's going to be very intriguing to see at what point do both or at least one of these two decide to commit here to the Crimson Tide. But we go to a cool call topic right now, that being one former Alabama defensive back, Kareem Jackson, 2009 BCS national champion, signing a one-year deal with the Denver Broncos. He will remain in Denver, continuing his NFL career. Kareem Jackson got drafted in 2010, Eli. So 2010, it's now 2023. Kareem been playing ball for a long time. Whether it's with the Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, Kareem's been playing ball for a long time. So kudos to him. Continuing to stick around the game, be around the game, growing his knowledge of the game, but also develop the players behind him. The next wave of athletes, the next wave of superstars, if you will. So kudos there to Kareem Jackson, passing the wisdom along as he signing one-year deal there with those Denver Broncos. But we take another break right here on the show, folks. We'll touch that down. Upon our return, we jump into this conversation, that being why Alabama fans should not be overly concerned with what they saw in the spring game, and why Alabama's going to be just fine, probably even more than fine, moving forward when you talk summer workouts and fall camp. We'll discuss it after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
All right, people, we're rocking and rolling right here with you on a Monday. Getting that work week started off for you correctly on the hottest show on these streets. Number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith. Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Continue. Give us that thumbs up, running those likes up for us right there. Showing that support, hitting that subscribe button, sharing the show to everybody that you know. Daily Super Chat Go, $100. Daily Super Chat Go, $100 right there. We appreciate you guys. We get into the second topic, eating out of the conversation. And this one's on, you got a lot of Alabama fans worried about, what happened on A-Day. Got a lot of Alabama fans concerned about, we didn't do anything fancy. We didn't do anything splashy. We didn't do anything, big. And so many people are saying that Bama's going to lose 4 games or Bama's going to lose 5 games because we didn't look appealing to the people watching the game. I'll say this. Alabama spring games have never necessarily looked appealing. Coach Saban has never unveiled his hand, unveiled his cards during the spring game. He's never done that. He's never had to do that. So for the people that look at this past spring game and you go, I'm scared, I'm nervous, Alabama didn't have the glitz and the glamour. Alabama didn't have this, that, and the third. Alabama didn't look like some of these other teams that went out there in their spring games. I'll say this. For the majority of the people, the fans, that watched the spring game, the number one thing you looked at, did the defense improve? Did the Alabama defense look better under Kevin Steele inside Bryant-Denny? It did. It looked better. Guys were flying around, knocking people's heads off, getting to the football, all 11, pursuing the ball, pursuing the play, creating turnovers, sacking the quarterbacks, or touching them down for a second, I should say, stuffing the run game. It was a fearsome defense and something that we haven't seen in the last 5 years. So to see that was very rewarding for you as an Alabama fan. Alabama fans, y'all wanted to see, the offensive line, right? Can the offensive line get some push, some penetration, some physicality, moving some people? We saw that. First team offensive line, Coach Saban saw those guys move some people. J.C. Latham moved some guys. Seth McLaughlin moved some guys. You saw some guys moving people. Even the second team offensive line with Caden Proctor and Miles McVay and Olas Anganine, they were moving people. That's what you want to see from the offensive line. Bama fans, you want to see the running back room. They did some things. McClellan did some stuff. Justice Haynes showed out, 3 touchdowns. You know what he's going to give you. Roydell Williams did some stuff. J.M. Miller did some stuff. I mean, my goodness, we saw the tight end room show up and show out. Several tight ends got to the fray there and made plays. So, I mean, the only true, real negative that came from the A-Day game, and this will be cleaned up, it's just receivers that drop passes. And all they got to do is get on the jug machine. And I know for a fact that Coach Saban, Holman Wiggins better be doing this. They're going to put them guys in that jug machine. Finish the play. Catch the football. That was the only, real negative that happened out there. Yes, people want to point toward, but the quarterbacks weren't sexy. The quarterbacks weren't appealing. The quarterbacks didn't do this. Look. Jalen Milroe had 3 touchdowns. Yes, he had 2 picks, but one was just kind of a Hail Mary he threw up there. And the other one, look, he got hit. His arm got hit, got picked off. Stuff like that happens. Ty Simpson had beautiful balls the whole game. Most of the time, they were dropped. Dylan Larnigan led a touchdown drive, people, which was great for him as a freshman. Eli Holstein fired a dart to Ja'Cory Brooks. Quarterbacks made improvement. And now you add Tyler Buckner to the room from Notre Dame that I mentioned last week. Hey, guys, junior film out of high school, the Bishop High School in California, Buckner can play ball. He missed his senior year, didn't have a senior year due to COVID, so that set back his development a little bit. But if he can recapture what he was his junior year of high school, where he threw for over 4,000 yards, had 53 touchdowns to 5 picks, rushed for over 1,600 yards, totaled 28 rushing touchdowns. If he can get back to those numbers he had his junior year, or close to those numbers, or close to that type of athleticism production, it's going to be interesting. Going to be very interesting, very intriguing, that quarterback room. But if you're an Alabama fan, and you're looking at Nick Saban, Tommy Rees, and Kevin Steele for a moment here, don't let what happened on A-Day overwhelm you. Understand, Bama spring games have never been just uberly appealing. It's the defense hitting, playing fast, doing their job. If they are, check that box. It's the offensive line moving people off the ball, being nasty, being physical, showing some signs that they're tough and mean, okay? Check that box. Do you have the running backs in the stable and probably a freshman that can make some big plays? You got that? Check that box. Do you have tight ends that could be more so than just blocking tight ends, but can run routes, catch the football, take pressure off the passing game? You do. Check that box. Do you have wide receivers that are more than capable of making plays? Yes, you do. Got to catch the football cleanly, consistently. But you do have those wide receivers. You can check that box. Now, last but not least, did you see improvement from the quarterbacks? Yes, you did. There was improvement. Tyler Buckner is added to enhance the competition even more. You saw the improvement. So do not become out of sorts because people are talking, but Bama didn't have the appealing, popular, cool A-Day. No. The boxes that need to be checked got checked. And that's what you need to have. Now it's on these guys to, with summer in here now, summer break, get with your personal trainers, get with your personal coaches, and work on what you need to work on to better yourself. So when you return to camp, you return for summer workouts and fall camp, you know exactly what you need to do to surpass somebody else on the roster or sustain, maintain where you are. We take a break right here, folks. We'll touch that dial. When we get back, we return to the phone lines. We get your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up. We want to hear from you. We'll do that right after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Well, people are back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets right here, talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Even during the offseason, still rolling right here with you. Got my man Eli Walk in the production studio. And how about this? He's back! Jimmy Badman! Cash Money rolling over in the bucket, Clay, with that $100 donation in the Super Chats, handling the goal by himself. Awesome having Jimmy Clay back in here. And all of you for making this your spot to talk Bama football. Appreciate that love there coming from Jimmy Clay. Phone lines open, 205-448-1358. Number to call in. Let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from. Live on the show, caller. Unfortunately, we lost that call right there, but 205-448-1358, the number 2. Call in and get your thoughts in. on the show, 205-448-1358. And got an interesting call topic here, Eli. This one goes to what you were saying, Eli? Did it go to Tua? Trying to see here. Okay. Appreciate that, Eli. This one went to Daron Payne. So, Alabama defensive lineman, or former defensive lineman Daron Payne, who recently got paid this offseason by the Washington Commanders, that 4-year deal worth $90 million. Daron Payne will host his first offensive line, defensive line camp this summer. Will be June 17th right here in the Birmingham area. The camp will actually be in Irondale at Payne's high school, or former high school, Shades Valley. So Daron Payne is really giving back to the next wave of athletes. This camp will be for the class of 2024 to 2027. They're working on footwork drills, one-on-one competition, a whole lot of stuff with the offensive lineman and defensive lineman. So you're trying to have your child be a lineman at the next level. Find yourself at this Daron Payne offensive line, defensive line camp. Once again, it will be on June 17th, right there at Shades Valley High School, Irondale, just outside of the Birmingham area. Big Daron Payne giving back to the youth there in his community. But take our final break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we come back, we tidy up loose ends and wrap things up with this conversation. How good can Bryce Young really be in the NFL? Frank Reich, Panthers are saying a lot of things about Bryce, but how good can he really be in the NFL? We'll wrap it up with that after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we definitely appreciate all of you for all the phone, for all the calls, the chats, the donations, the YouTube chat line, conversations, all that you do, making this your show, your space, your area to talk Bama football, even during the off season. We know that even though Bama football may have an off season, the conversation doesn't have an off season. So that is that right there. Continue to hit the like button, tap that subscribe button right there, share the show, make this your outlet for all things Bama football. But Eli, final topic or final discussion of conversation here. How good can Bryce Young be in the NFL? How good can Bryce Young really be in the league? He got selected number 1 overall this recent draft by the Carolina Panthers. Bryce, we saw him at Alabama for 3 seasons just completely eviscerate the SEC. In 2 years as a starting quarterback, we're talking 8,200 passing yards, 79 passing touchdowns. For his career, he is second all-time for passing yards in school history, 8,356. He's second for passing touchdowns with 80. He's second in total touchdowns with 87. A host of awards, including the Heisman Trophy. Bryce was just a very special young man and a very special player. And according to Frank Reich, head coach of the Panthers, who played quarterback himself and has worked with quite a few talented signal callers, Frank Reich said Bryce Young's football intelligence, his IQ, is on par with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. And that is that's incredible right there. You're talking about two guys that could really process information on the field. Peyton Manning, he was so afraid of not being prepared that he over-prepared. Peyton Manning prepared his tail off, processed like crazy. There was a reason why Peyton Manning earned the nickname the Sheriff. There's a reason why. Because he could dictate and manipulate defenses pre-snap and post-snap. There's a reason why Peyton Manning is my favorite NFL quarterback of all time, period. The way he was able to just dictate, manipulate defenses with pre- and post-snap reads, insane how he was able to do that. Two-time Super Bowl champion Peyton Manning, Hall of Famer Peyton Manning. Andrew Luck, when he came out of a 2011 or 2012, one of those two drafts out of Stanford, people kept talking about him, his ability to process information and read defenses and break it down and understand and get from point A to point Z quickly, like the IQ capacity of Andrew Luck, which is off the charts. And he was about to become the next big-time quarterback, but, unfortunately, injuries forced Andrew Luck into an early retirement. When I look at Bryce Young, he made a 98, on his S2 cognitive test. The highest grade among quarterbacks in this draft, 98. That S2 cognitive test, it evaluates your ability to process information. How fast can you process it, take it in, compartmentalize it, and spit it out on the field of play? How fast can you do that? And Bryce Young made a 98 on that. Mel Kiper Jr., leading up to the draft, talked about he has not seen a quarterback process the way Bryce Young can. Now, I know the Panthers signed Andy Dalton as a veteran insurance quarterback, so they're probably not expecting Bryce to be the starter week one. But the way that he's processing stuff, folks, don't be shocked if Bryce is the starter week one. I would put Bryce over Andy Dalton right now, period. Andy Dalton is just a placeholder until they go, okay, Bryce is ready to get on out there. That's what I 100% feel. That Andy Dalton is a placeholder until Frank Reich and that coaching staff goes, okay, Bryce is ready, get him out there. Let's see why we made the move to give up what we gave up to the Chicago Bears to trade up to the number 1 overall pick and take Bryce Young. It's going to be fun to watch how good he can be here in the league as Frank Reich comparing his football IQ to Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. But as always, Tide fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, material, coverage. Your favorite program, that being Alabama football. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. You got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll try to be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation. It is Tide Football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, here's what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. Got to shout out, oh my God, Jimmy Cash Money Clay again. This time $114 donation in the Super Chats. The man's back. Put some water on him. He on fire. Good to have Jimmy Clay back in here. And all of you making this your spot here to talk Alabama football, even in the offseason. Gotta shout out you, the fans, for all that you do. Making this your show to talk all things Bama football. Got Gotta shout out my man Eli Walker in the production studio. Till next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored. Get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.